Welcome to Big and Little Crochet hexagon number 21, and we're going to be doing the Snowflower hexagon today with the Petrol, the Sky Blue and the blush, and we're starting off with the blush and we're going to make a chain of 4 and we'll join that with a slip stitch. So we start off with a slip knot, and don't forget, if I go too quickly for you, you can just pause and slow down and then start again when you've caught up. So there's my slip knot, and I'm going to start off with a chain of 4. And then join with a slip stitch. That's quite a small circle to start off with. So at the beginning we do 1 chain, which is our standing chain for double crochet. That's the UK double crochet, that is. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 more chains, so that's 4 altogether, and do a double crochet into the ring, and then 1, 2, 3 next time and into the ring with a double, 1, 2, 3, and then another double into the ring. And you might have noticed I'm holding this short end at the back there and winding it in, binding it in if you like, so when I do a stitch it's in there and then I won't need to sew it in. So I need to have 6 little petals all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 2 more of those, so I need to push them round a bit so I can get another 2 in. And then 1, 2, 3 at the end, and then join with a slip stitch to the back of that first chain that you did. Well, it doesn't have to be the back of it, it just has to be into that chain. And that's the end of that round, round 1. Now for round 2 we need to be in that 3 chain space, so I'm just going to do a little slip stitch to sort of push me over into the space rather than on that stitch there. And then we're going to do 2 chains for a treble, for a half treble rather, 1 treble, and then a chain, a treble, and then back down to a half treble again. So that's a little petal. So in the next space I'm going to go straight over to here. I'm going to do a half treble, that's yarn over and through all 3, a treble, yarn over through 2, through 2, and then 1 chain, and then the same thing backwards, so a treble and then a half treble. There we are, so that's my second petal. So keep doing that all the way round until you get to this point again. And when you get to the end of the round, we're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the first 2 chain, 1, 2, there we are, that you did. And we're going to fasten off the blush because we're going to join the sky blue in the next round. And the sky blue does what is known as an elongated or a spike stitch, and I'm going to show you that now. There we are, that's looking quite pretty so far. I'm going to snip off that bit at the back because it's been worked in already. So here's our sky blue, and I'm going to start off with a spike stitch. Now I'm going to work into the double crochet from the row below, and that's this one here, there, and there are 6 of those, you can see. So I work into the top of that, that's here, I don't know if you can see that here, that's in there. So I'm going to put the hook into that space and pull the yarn through. Well, I'm going to try, there we are, and then pull it up to there, and that's the spike stitch. So it's a long stitch that goes over that distance. Then when we've got the spike, I'm going to do 2 chains and then a double crochet into here, then 4 chains and a double crochet back into that space, so there's a little loop at the top there, and then 2 chains and another spike stitch. So the spike stitch is a double crochet and it goes right down into that stitch from the row below, and then pull it up and then through both those loops. Now I'm going to do mine again because I don't know if you can see, but this is a bit too baggy there. I don't like that big loop, so I'm going to start again and pull it a bit tighter, go back into there, pull the yarn through and tension it so you make sure you're not pulling too tight or too loosely. There we are, that's better. So that's my spike stitch. Now we start off again and we do 2 chains and then double crochet, 4 chains and another double crochet into that peak at the edge of the top of the petal there, and then continue all the way around. It's looking a bit Mickey Mouse at the moment, isn't it? But I think it'll look different when we've been all the way around. So doesn't it look pretty? It's like a flower or a snowflake. I wasn't sure which one it was, that's why it's called a snowflower. So there you go. And I love these colours together. Somehow they're very festive, or I don't know, lovely. Anyway, we're sticking with the sky blue for the next round, and we're going to be working into these 4 chain spaces at the tip of the little petals. And first of all we slip stitch 2 there, so we're right over here, so we need to slip stitch up to there. So I don't think I can do it in one, so I'm going to slip stitch into there and then slip stitch up to there, and then we're going to do a round of stitches in this shape, and the first of which is 3 trebles. So I'll start off with a 3 chain and 2 trebles in this instance, and then we're going to do a half double treble. So a double treble has 2 wraps, and we're going to go in there and we'll do the first one, and then on the second round you go all the way through, and the next stitch is a real double treble. So we go through 2, through 2, through 2, and then a half double again, so through the first one and then through all 3, so it's just slightly shorter, and then 3 trebles again, 1, 2, 3, and that goes all the way around that little shape. And then you work into the next one, but to get to it you do a double crochet into the top of the spike stitch. So it's that stitch there which might be quite tricky to get into. Oh, there we go. And we're going to do a little double crochet there, and then we kick off with this over here. So I'm going to be doing 3 trebles to start off with over there, and it's a bit, it feels like a bit of a reach, but I'll show you there. It just makes those stitches lie sideways, which is quite nice. So we're going to do 3 trebles, a half double treble, a double treble, half double treble, another 3 trebles, and then a DC into the next spike stitch, and keep doing that all the way around. See, join with a slip stitch to the top of the first 3 chain that you did, and then we're going to fasten off. So this is where we are at this stage with our lovely petals, and I'm going to join the petrol. Now I'm going to join not to the stitch right in the middle here, but to this one to the left. So I've made a slip knot in the petrol there, and I can just pull that through, and I'm going to do one chain there, and then into the next stitch a double, and then into the next two half trebles, so gradually getting taller, and we're working into the stitches here, not into the spaces. And then in this one in the top, I'm going to do 2 trebles, and then 2 chain and another 2 treble, all into that same stitch, and then we come down the other side, so a half treble here, do that again, and then doubles, or we don't need the yarn over, and then I'm going to skip that stitch above the first the spike stitch and go into the next one along and start again. So we have 2 doubles, 2 half trebles, and then into the next one we do the 2 trebles, 2 chain, 2 trebles, and you do that on every spike all the way around. And now I've been all the way around, and I'm going to join again. I'm going to miss that central stitch and join with a slip stitch to that first chain that we did, and then fasten off. And in the next round we're rejoining the raspberry blush colour. Here we are, and I'm going to join to the apex of one of the petals, so where there's a 2 chain space. So I'll join with a little slip knot, and I'm going to join to the top here. Oops, let's find the long end. And in this space, so we do 1 chain there, and then I'm going to do 2 chains, 2 more chains, 1, 2, and a double crochet into there. So that would normally be a double and 2 chains, and then 1 DC in the next 4 stitches, that's 4, then 1 half treble, and then a couple of trebles here. So what we're doing is getting slightly taller in the dip, so it will even up the sides of the hexagon. So we'll be filling in these gaps here by having the taller stitches in the dip and the shorter ones on the top. And then we reverse the whole thing. So we've done 2 trebles, and then we do half treble, and then 4 double crochet. 3, 4, and then when we get to the space at the top again, we're going to be doing a double, 2 chains to go round the corner, whoops, and then a double again. There we are. So keep doing that all the way round. And here we are near the end, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch to that first chain that we did. There we are. And this one needs a bit of blocking, doesn't it? But I'll show you how to do that in the next film when we've got 2 to do. So there we are. That's hexagon number 21, the Snowflower, done.